Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. On this occasion, I will present the assessment of an industrial environmental health course, a journal of public health of Indonesia with the title Use of E-cigarettes and Associated Factor Among Adolescent Smokers in Indonesia. Analysis the Global Young Tobacco Survey (GYTS) in Indonesia 2019. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ode Fardilla, Standbook J1A119078, Class Environmental Health. Background: Globality smoke behavior is one factor that causes death and disability estimated at more than 6 million people at risk. To prevent the harmful risk of using cigarettes, the scholar give alternatives to reduce the risk such as smokeless tobacco and electric cigarettes. E-cigarettes are devices powered by a battery that denoting is in the form of propylene glycol or glycerine. The electronic cigarette is not a new product of cigarette. The e-cigarette is becoming an issue among youth and young adolescents. The product was established with a lower risk of health problems. However, e-cigarette use remains a con and pro topic because they is used provocation among smokers and prevent youth from becoming smokers. Using e-cigarette is also an alternative for smokers to be enabled to smoke anywhere. Some studies about e-cigarettes have been done in Indonesia. The data show a total of 4,419,622 e-cigarette users in Indonesia 2017. However, the health consequences of using a cigarette are not relevant because some studies found no difference in look and less between mixed with conventional cigarette and e-cigarette. The negative impact of using a cigarette is also shown by study in the UK that found respiratory failure among e-cigarette users. Method: Study design. This study used secondary data which was designed as a cross-sectional survey. The use of e-cigarettes and their predecessors were assessed at the same time. Setting: The original study, GYTS 2019, was conducted in 34 provinces in Indonesia in 2019. According to WHO, GYTS aimed to control tobacco use among adolescents aged 13 to 17. GYTS 2019 is the last survey about ingredients. There were no exits in the probe round. The study aimed to know the proportions of e-cigarette use among smokers and examine the associated factor. Sample participants. The original survey GYTS 2019 used the Global Star Grant methodology, a 20-stage sample design. The original survey GYTS 2019 selection the school based on proportional probability. The class was chosen by random sampling method, and all the enabling students in grades 7, 12, 12 could join the survey. This study used eligible samples studying age to 7 to 12 years old and excluding criteria with those who did not complete the questionnaire. After doing the data cleaning and management, the total sample in original survey was 832 adult smokers. Instruments. GYTS used a standard core questionnaire under World Health Organization framework Conventions on Tobacco Control in order to generate complete data with an across countries. The questionnaire covered some topics including tobacco use, cessation, secondhand smoke, pro and anti-tobacco media, and harvesting. This great study used e-cigarette as independent variable. It was dummy variable with categories yes or no. The independent variables are age, gender, money pocket, age, smoking during school hours, parent smoking, and use of other forms of
Data
smoking
correlate.
tobacco. The Crane study used secondary data, namely GYTS, conducted in 2019 by the National Health Research and Development under the Ministry of Health. Totality, the response rate was 910%. The validity and reliability tests have been done by the Ministry of Health in Indonesia. Data analysis. The statistical analysis used in the study consisted of univariate, bivariate, and multivariate. The univariate saw the frequency and percentage of variables, dependent and independent variables. The bivariate analysis was done using chi-squared to examine the relation of each independent variable to dependent variable. The binary logistic regression was done to examine all the independent variables to the dependent variable in three models, which were present by adjusted odd ration. ASTATA version 15. Mahidol University License was used to analyze the data. Results. Table 1. Describe the general information about a cigarette and potential risk factor dissolved by frequency and percentage among all adolescent smokers joined in GYTS 2019 about 49.6 65% of them were a cigarette user. Among the more half-wit aged 50 to 70 years old. Tables 2. How the bivariate analyzing used the chi-square text of six independent variables. Two variables saw a correlate to the use of cigarettes. Money pocket was statistic correlate with the use of cigarette with a power of 0.000 in detail. For those who had money podcast less than EDR 11,000, about 69.1% of them did not use a cigarette, and for those who had money podcast more than or equal to ID. Table 3. Describe the binary regression result for the use of cigarette among all potential predictors of a cigarette use. Two independent variables were significant associated with the use of cigarette after being adjusted to all independent variables. Discussion. This study found the main determinant of cigarette use was money pocket. In line with this current study, the study in Jakarta found having enough money to buy a cigarette and parent assistant of a cigarette use were the high odds of using a cigarette. Similarly to this study, the study among high school study in Jakarta relevant determinant of cigarette, such as the use of conventional cigarette. The perceptions that a cigarette are less addictive and perceptions that a cigarette do not cause cancer. Generally, the main factor influence adolescents to use a cigarette is acceptance of adolescents themselves and their parents. However, there is no influence from the teacher. The result of this study is different from the study among high school studying in Bekasi City, which found money podcast was not associated with a cigarette use. However, if affordability and affordability are the main factor influence adolescents to use a cigarette. The terminal of cigarette use have been done by previous studies. A cigarette use was strongly associated with conventional cigarette and heavy drinking. In addition, the use of cigarette was associated with sex, school location, traditional cigarette smoking status, peer use, affability, and perceptions that a cigarette aid conventional cigarette smoking cases. The use of cigarette is also rare to be self-image and a part of social activity. The health problems that might be occurring by using a cigarette have been discussed in previous studies. One study found the risk of pulmonary toxicity of a cigarette, especially among adolescents. In some areas in Indonesia, the use of cigarette is a new trend. The study comparing awareness of a cigarette found that Indonesians had the low 10.9% range of a cigarette compared with Malaysia, Qatar, and Green. 21.0%, 49.0%, and 19.5% respectively. Conclusion. The result of this study found the strong influence of social-economic factors, such as money power related to the use of a cigarette. The use of a cigarette is related to money pocket. The might also be related to the household income and economic status. Another factor associated with the use of a cigarette is the odor from of smoking tobacco. This factor is related to the tendency of adolescents to try everything. Generally, this study found the factor influencing a cigarette is the factor in the scope of the whole household. So, the control from parents and teachers is very important to reduce the harmful cigarette use. That's what I can say. If there is a wrong word, please forgive. More and less, please forgive. Thank you very much.